Yeah, that's usually how it's been going. I seem to get like at least engagement every time I stream, which is actually a pretty positive sign. All right, what is going on? Welcome to the stream. So, just picking things up with code, cloud code. Sentry.io. Sign up, platform React Native. All right, so I'm signing up for Sentry.io. Going to retrieve the DNS, copy the DNS URL value and send it. My machine has been acting slow lately. I'm not sure. Might have been the local model that I installed recently. All right, so signing into Apple Store Connect now. All right, we are now in Sentry. If you've ever used Sentry, let me know what you think about it. I have a 14-day trial on Sentry, so this process feels really slow, what I'm working on right now. It just feels like I'm setting up some kind of backend infrastructure that I don't really understand that well. So what could I have done to improve the time that it's taken to get to this point in the last 17 days? What's going on, Rattled Cage? Listen to advice. I'm trying. What is your advice today? I found the projects page, but I don't see any information here. Not sure what I can today. That's all right. Hope to be able to learn whatever I can through this session this afternoon over here. So create a project. I'm using this service called Sentry.io. Okay, so we're creating a project in Sentry.io. And it's going to be a React Native project. So I'll select this React Native here. And then see what's going on here with this setup. So I selected the platform, React Native. Set your alert frequency, leave the default. Project name is Prism. Name your project and assign it a team. Project Slug. Prism. And then create the project. It'll drop you on a setup page showing an install snippet. Ignore all of it. The SDK is already in the app. Just find the line that looks like this. Not sure if that's configure the SDK with your DSM. Copy DSM. Okay, I found it. Copy the URL inside the quotes. If that page scrolls past, it says it's safe, but I don't really understand that. So I wonder if I should work on Simulus and while I'm also working on Prism with Codex. That feels like a good use of my time because I do want to work on that project. I'm at almost 30% usage so far. I think I really just got started. I feel like Claude is just not performing very good in terms of cost. RO, what's going on? What can you do with vibe coding? Can you create video games or delivery app program? Sure you can. I would say you could make, I guess there's you know, a lot to unpack with a question like that because, you know, as a person asking the question, I'm sure you sort of have this idea of what that looks like to you, but for, you know, someone who's not seeing it the way that you're seeing it, I could only imagine you mean sort of like a developed video game that you can possibly scale a user base on and have a business surrounding that program or that video game. I mean, you can make free games. There's a, you know, there's this guy who is streaming as well, and he definitely does some neat stuff with programming video games and stuff like that. Rattled Cage says advice is stop paying to code with third-party apps. That's a drop the mic kind of advice. Rattled Cage, does that mean you don't use any kind of AI tools to write code? It's been a little while since I actually wrote any kind of code, and my favorite programming language is C. I like the C programming language because it works with a lot of firmware projects and embedded firmware, and I'm just most familiar with that kind of programming is C. I spent the most time programming in C. during my last year of undergrad, I worked with Python on a senior design project, which was a pretty exciting project. It was very fun. It was a drone project. It had to do with AI, and we had an NVIDIA edge AI processor, which was low power consumption. And I had a team of students that I worked with, and they all did their part. And it was fun. I think we performed relatively well, above average, in the senior design showcase. But I just graduated in May. I've just never gone through this process before. This is entirely new to me, being exposed to these different services and frameworks that you have to inherit for scaling a real application. Like, that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm not just trying to create like an app that could, be shared with just like a few test users through test flight. I want to take whatever that is to the next level, because that's as far as I've gotten in this kind of journey before. And I decided to go with the cross-platform. Maybe if I stuck with just iOS builds, because I don't even have a Google Play console yet. So I made this cross-platform application, and I guess it's just going how it is. But I've never done this before, so I switched gears from Simulus and not doing that as much. Although I'd like to get back on it. I do a lot of Arduino, drone, AGV coding. That's awesome. Those sound like fun projects. Thank you, RO. And do they encourage you to use apps like Prism to code? Do they encourage you? You mean like the does who encourage? And do you mean this app Prism encourage to use apps like Prism to code? Well, if you're talking about this Prism is just the name of the app that I'm building. And do they, yeah, so. All right, so I got to set up a repository. Once I set up the repository, copy the attached HTML. This repository is going to be named Prison Legal. I'm going to add a README to it and create the repository. Index.html. and then paste the attached HTML. At college, do they encourage you to use third-party apps? If you're talking about like encouraging Codex or Claude Code, if that's what you mean, I don't think they quite even understand the products that well themselves enough to, you know, like some professors I think are qualified with information that give them sort of the credentials to make suggestions about these kinds of tools. And I think that there's various opinions that I've encountered. And it seems like the trend has been sort of more tolerance. I think initially there was sort of a widespread discourage, you know, like don't use agentic solutions. And then eventually, you know, there was an argument about like having it just build the scaffold, you know, having it boilerplate, you know, generate a certain sort function. You could just sort of scan at the sort function and see what it produced. As long as you could understand what it produced, then, you know, the confidence was there to continue moving forward. And I think learning how to integrate that kind of development practice is a good thing. I think a lot of professors also see the value in where it can help, you know, provide, utilize the advantages, but not sacrifice the comprehension. But then you've got people who build the calculators, and then you have people who use the calculators, and, you know, they do completely different jobs. People who use calculators don't need to understand the logic gates and the arithmetic that happens behind the display. The electrical engineers and the people who are, you know, building and designing the circuit, they have to have a much more in-depth understanding. I mean, I would say even less today, but if you're building new innovative processing capabilities, then I think your comprehension of like logic and arithmetic and low-level data structure development, like those are things that I find interesting. I think a lot of the high-level programming is just really noisy scripting. I mean, I have an interest in it, but I prefer more embedded firmware design and stuff. All right, so I've created a new repository, and I have also pasted the index.html. It said I should visit this site and confirm that it loads. And it does not. That was strange. I don't know why I did that. Rex, how's it going, man? Going pretty good, thank you. Hope all is well. Ah, okay. Go into settings, pages. Settings, pages, branch, main. See, I went to settings, but I don't see a pages. Oh, there it is. And branch, main. Root, main root. Okay, and save that. Now we have a new page for the branch, the main branch. Wait 1 minute and then this website should load. GitHub pages source has been saved. Why don't you use the terminal version of Claude? It is 10 times better. Do you already have an MVP? Yeah, those are good questions. I like the Claude CLI. I prefer the Claude CLI actually. It was because I listened to some other, suggestions that were made in the stream over the last couple of days or, last week or so. I used to use the Claude CLI, but then I started a new project and I started a new project, and that is when I made a switch over to just using Claude Code. The experience feels somewhat similar at this point. I tried adopting Hermes as well into my workflow, and that's still a work in progress. I haven't quite figured out Hermes. It's a little more complicated than I was prepared for, but I tried to build a Hermes tool that allowed me to use Hermes better, but I was building it with Hermes and I just got stuck in this crazy process. But I've been playing around with different things like that and also trying to build this application and live streaming myself doing it and learning it, so there's sort of some extra stress there sometimes trying to figure everything out. The MVP is a fitness cross-platform application that can work on iOS and Android. There seems to be a relatively working web application version of it as well, but I have it on test flight. It is a functional fitness app that keeps track of user entries with regards to the exercises that are provided on there, and there's sort of some metrics that are produced after the user uses the app for a certain period of time. There's like a recovery window that's generated and a progress chart and some things that highlight progress. And I think we're hitting our limit here pretty soon, it looks like. That's crazy. No, we're at 30%. I don't know what this little circle down here is. Is that the context window history before it suggests that it's getting, I guess so. So the free amount of space is 1 million tokens. I've never opened this view up. That's kind of interesting. Five-hour limit, weekly all models. Okay, so it's 5-hour window limit. Oh, I think we have to check the this website out now. Nope, still not found. Huh. All right. I shouldn't have ran that. Yeah, I can edit that. No, I can't. All right, so maybe about a week ago, I got anti-gravity and I started using it. I maxed out the session limit like in maybe 30 minutes. And I had it build this video game for me. So I have my credits back and I'm only using the free anti-gravity client. But now that I have my session back, I'm gonna see what I can do with this little fun game that I made called Timberwalk. All right. Anti-gravity, free users, 100% weekly limit remaining. Gemini 3.6 Flash on high. So it stopped working on the game. Continue to work on the application and do not ask me questions about the design. Make those decisions yourself and build the application as far as you can. So I'm not confirming whether I like the game. I'm not confirming if I like the game that I made. I'm just telling it to keep working on it because I personally like it, but I'm not letting it know that. I'm just telling it to simply continue building it the way that it's building it. Because I like the path that it's on. The hell is taking so long with this? Alright, so it made a version 2. Let's go ahead and check that out. What's going on, man? How's it going? I'm having some issues with my computer. I think I just have so many things that I've been installing and using that the audio is not working. Anyway, my headphones are getting all messed up. So I have Claude basically working on helping me get Prism up on the App Store as soon as possible. It's running some test flight tests, and I've just been waiting on it to finish. I think it's submitting a test flight build. That's what it's doing right now. We can hear you and the music. Oh, that's great. Yeah, I'm not sure how I was introduced to this plugin for OBS. I saw you made a video on setting up OBS, and that looks pretty cool. I think I'll check that one out. So yeah, waiting for this test flight build to complete, and I think Claude Code is just waiting for the message that it has been submitted and all that. So I decided to work with some codec stuff, some anti-gravity stuff in the meantime. Alright, I have hit the model quota for this game. Now I just gotta remember how I run this game. How to launch, it doesn't tell me. Okay, run npm run dev. Hopefully that works. So this is supposed to be the third version of the game. I didn't even test version 2. I don't really like it. Main menu. It doesn't feel like it changed at all. Feels like completely the same game. I don't know if I'm just... Well, actually, that's different. The color of the log is... And the color of the gem is different. And these are now moving. And different graphics are now occurring. But I don't know how to get onto the homepage. Like the main menu where all the rewards and whatever. I wonder if this thing just gets further and further. There's a share with friends. Share with friends. That was kind of neat. Menu. See, menu just brings you back to the main game, so it's not really working. We can hear you in the music. I might build out my iOS app tonight for Pasta Pass. That sounds awesome, man. You should do that. I'm so hungry right now. I need to eat some food. I was just thinking about going to a buffet, an all-you-eat buffet, because that's the kind of food game that I need to be on right now, is all you can eat, just like the Pasta Pass. Make the log flip fully over to make a bridge. If it's too short, then he walks over it. The board falls with the guy. Yeah, I think that actually... I don't know if I even showed what that looks like, so... I'll do that again. So if I do it too short, it does kind of fall, and if I do it too long, he just falls off as well. But you're saying make the log guy flip fully over to make a bridge. Make the log flip fully over. Yeah, no, you're right. I see what you're saying now. Yeah, that's definitely a bug that's happening in the game. I've just gotten so used to playing like this. I did think about that though. I thought it was kind of strange that it built it that way, but I didn't immediately correct it. I didn't even know what was going on when I first launched the game. I told it to make a new game completely from scratch. I just gave it the random name Timberwalk. That is just like a small neighborhood that I remember when I was a kid called Timberwalk, and so I just like came up with that randomly as the name for the project, not having like any plan for it to be anything particular. But yeah, I do want to fix that. What's up, 5269? How you doing? I see a pill with OSES, but what are we voting for? What's that? I'm not sure I understand. What is OSES? I don't know what that is. Pill with OSES. Yeah, I'm not sure. All right, here's some big perplexity prompt. Oh, that came from my last conversation on the perplexity project section. So we've run out of tokens or whatever session limit for anti-gravity. So I'm really only building this Timberwalk game with anti-gravity. I haven't used anything else to work on it. I meant poll with OS as options. What are we voting for? Oh, yeah, I don't know. Just like whatever you use. Do you use, I mean, maybe you use both. I don't know. But do you have a preference? Do you prefer Mac OS, Windows? What do you just, I don't know. It was just a way to kind of like spark a conversation, I guess. Been doing a lot of cross-platform work, and I haven't built an app that has some kind of launchable icon, like some kind of executable object on a desktop or wherever you put it. Usually I have to launch an application through the terminal command line, but except for a mobile app that I put on my phone. I can tap on that and it launches. But as far as like a desktop, Linux is missing. You're right. You know, I didn't even think to add a third thing there. When the template for the poll is yes or no, so I just filled those two in. I didn't even think. Linux is definitely a good option to have on there. All right, so anti-gravity is cooked. It is all cooked out. It can't make anything more. Until when? Until the 18th, which is in a week from now. That's crazy. I should be able to use it for free. All right, Codex, get 500 credits, invite a friend to GPT. Why do I feel like 500 credits is not a lot? Invite a friend to ChatGPT desktop when they send their first message. You'll get 500 credits. 500 credits does not sound like a lot. Am I missing something? Have I ran out of session limit? Usage? Wow, I hit my session limit. That's insane. I can't believe that. That is jarring. Wow. And it was because I was running a security scan. I'm quite sure. I'm gonna check that security scan real quick. Pretty insane. I can't believe that I did. I did a deep security scan for Simulation. Do not stop until repeated discovery is saturated or capped. Its canonical discovery manifest and compacts candidate ledger are accepted. The shared validation and attack path phases are complete or explicitly deferred where allowed. I can't believe that I did that. I mean, I just thought it was a cool feature, but this thing is like used up all of my session. I don't know how much more it has to do. Like, I want it to finish. Yeah, this is odd. How long do I have to wait now for it to restore? I have to wait a whole week to use Codex again. I don't know, it's weird because recently I've been like close to running out of my usage, and it says I have a few days, and then it'll give me back, it'll put me back at 0% usage, even though it said like it was going to take 3 days, and it does that on like the very next day. So I don't know what the deal is there. I like that Claude Code has sort of like a 5-hour window, so at least I know in about however long it's going to reset. And I see there's a weekly or a weekly usage and a daily usage for Claude Code. But it's stuck on something, and submit build to test flight. And I just want it to be done with that. Why is it taking so long? Maybe Perplexity can help us. Why is Claude Code taking so long on this question mark? Yeah, see, Perplexity, the voice dictate. I mean, is it me? Am I speaking properly? Why is Claude Code taking so long on this? Let's add a little screenshot here. I hope it says it's taking long because it's waiting for the build to finish uploading to test flight. $53 long is long but explainable, not a sign of failure. Why it's taking this long? Upload phase. Yes, it's processing. That's terrific. Okay. I don't feel like all of that time was wasted. As you can see here, I guess it's build 3 is in the processing phase right now. So once this build is online, then I'm able to give my testers the ability to start using their own data to test the application. So that's a big win. Okay, so I'm just waiting for that to finish, really. It's unfortunate what happened to Codex. Codex, unfortunately, decided, based on what I told it to do, to basically blow up. So, that's unfortunate that that happened. But it's my fault. You know, I can't blame anything. Can't blame the agents. I gotta take accountability here for what I told them to do. I basically said perform a security scan on my system, and I thought that it would do it and not blow up my credit and session limit. It's sort of insane, actually. That security plugin, it's pretty intense. That is not for a $20 weekly user. I mean, unless this was like an imperative. Like, I was just messing around. I don't even know what the value is in doing this. I'm just doing it for fun. So I guess I'm just gonna pause the goal here. See? Paused goal. Run the Codex security deep search scan. Yeah, we're gonna not do that now. And I think I can return back to it, right? I just come here, see that it's idle, and I can hit play. Okay. That's fine. Codex is out of the race. Can't believe that happened still. 0% left. Alright, our Prism build is processing. Once that comes out, I'll be able to ask. Oh, there it is. Look at that. Okay. This is an exciting moment. I'm actually thrilled about this because this means that we can have people testing this new build right now. This is sort of a huge moment, actually. Yeah, it finished. Claude Code has finished its assignment. And what was its assignment? Build 3 succeeded with a real backend, source maps configured. Test flight submission in progress. No need to do anything. I'll let you know the result. Okay, so the longer story. So getting the fitness app onto the Apple test flight for real testers is the current plan. The app is built, but the last step, handing it to Apple, got interrupted when you forked this session. Oh, so it's my fault. So I need to check whether it's actually finished or needs a retry. Okay, that's fair. The longer story, so the jargon makes sense, your app just went through Apple's submission pipeline for the first time. Built the app like Apple's own print a copy step. That copy is called an IPA file. Uploading that copy to Apple's test flight, this is part of that got cut off. Okay. What actually happened before the fork? Let's see. First build failed. Sentry needed an organization name to upload readable crash logs. So we had to set that up. You chose to set it up properly rather than skip it, so I asked you to create an auth token in Sentry, which you provided. Second build succeeded, a real working copy of the app. Version 1, build number 3. Submitting that to test flight needed one more Apple specific ID, which you found and sent to me. I started the actual handed to Apple step. That's the part cut off by the fork. So here's what it's doing now. Well, that's what it finished, but okay. So I think the next step is to test it. I need to reach out to my testers. So that's a huge win. Okay, there is an update for Prism right now. So that means that whatever I did just now has the build that I just made is now live on test flight. So if you're one of my 5 test flight users out there, then go ahead and check for that update if you don't mind. All right, it says I need to create an account. See, create account. This is the very first screen that popped up. So I'm going to go ahead and enter my email. And set a password. Okay, so it's actually telling me to confirm my email. So I just entered my email and now it's saying confirm your email. So that's pretty interesting. Okay. That's good. Security. Let's go ahead into my email and confirm that. I hope that works end to end here. So I have to confirm my email. I'm logging into my email right now. And I see an authentication confirmation email from Supabase. Confirm your email address. Confirm. So I click confirm and everything. It just said, okay, so I basically went through that little process, right? I got it, got the account created, confirm my email. It was sort of didn't really feel all that professional, like getting a Supabase authentication email, and then when you click on confirm the email, it like pops up a HTML screen, but it's just like a dead screen. Anyway, I don't know. It did verify it. So I now have the application installed, and there is no data on here. So this data, there's no data that exists on here like the previous build when there was 8 weeks of training data to simulate a user who has been using it for 8 weeks. So now the build has nothing on it, no inputs, nothing like that. And everyone on test flight, if you have access to my test flight, you can test this application yourself. So would love to get any feedback on this application that anybody's willing to share. I guess I'm gonna make a video about what this can do. I feel like I need to just start reaching out to people and asking them to use this now. So I'll use it myself. Oh, that's perfect. And it has a display unit, so you can switch from kilograms to pounds. You can put your body weight in there. There's some things that need to be refined here. Oh man, but this is brilliant. This is actually brilliant. Wow. This is great. I'm a fan of this already. Gosh. This is cool. All right. I'm happy. I'm very happy. I think I've gotten to a very good point. Now, all it is just getting this app on from TestFlight on the actual app store, and integrating any kind of like revenue paywall stuff. I think that's also really important. So I'm going to have to talk to Claude about that. So that's great. Okay, I almost don't even know what to do now with myself. Like, what is the next thing? What is the next thing to do? Like, this was a huge accomplishment. I migrated from sort of pre-seeded training data to now being ready to receive real user entry data entries. Feel like I got to do something about this. Let's see how much context we have left. Okay, we're at 63%, and it resets in 2 hours, and I'm at 60% for the week, and it resets on Thursday, which is in just a couple days. We could probably ask it to deliver a banger. Because what did I just say? I just said a couple things about how I feel for the app. Yeah, so I'm gonna go back into the app on my phone. What would be really cool is if whatever updates on, if I make an update on my phone and then I pull it up on like the web app version of it, does that also update? So no matter where I access my account, I can, you know, have the same information persisting in the database. Prepare a handoff prompt to a new session context window. Also consider that I want to focus on refining this infrastructure, because now TestFlight is working and I've downloaded the application as a tester. But I'm curious about where the paywall will appear during the UI and UX experience. During the UI and UX. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to use that prompt for now and hand that off to a new session window, because this one is about 3/4 of the way full on its context memory. So what are the latest models coming out, you guys? What are the models you are looking forward to using? I'm not really sure myself. What kind of models are coming out in the near future that we can look forward to as vibe coders? All right, OpenAI has Astra Looms, GPT-6 still unconfirmed. OpenAI's roadmap moved faster than expected this year. What many assumed would ship as GPT-6 actually landed as GPT5.5 on April 23, 2026, followed by GPT5.6-Sol on July 9th, which reached general availability and currently leads independent coding benchmarks at 96.2% on SWE Bench Verified. The real next-gen model is codenamed Astra. On August 1st, OpenAI publicly called it our next major model and has already published research from an internal version, but as of August 5th, there's no model card, pricing, or public API route. Whether it launches under the GPT-6 name or as another point release is still undecided. Leakers on X, like Andrew Curran, suggested an imminent launch in about a month from early July, but that timeline remains speculative and unconfirmed by OpenAI itself. Anthropic, a fast-moving Claude 5 family. Anthropic has been most prolific this year for coding-focused releases, including models like Claude Sonnet 5, Claude Opus 5, Claude Fable 5, and Claude Haiku 4.5. It looks like these were released in order of Claude Haiku, Fable, Claude Sonnet, and then Claude Opus. Opus 5 is currently the new flagship, priced same as Opus 4.5, which is $5 per 25. $5 for $25. What is that? I don't understand how to. $5 per $25 per million tokens. $5 by $25 per million tokens. Interesting. Price the same as Opus 4.8. Notably, Fable 5 and its siblings Claude Mythos 5 briefly had access suspended over export control and cybersecurity safeguard concerns before being redeployed globally with updated safety classifiers on July 1st. For your day-to-day SwiftUI Supabase builds, Sonnet 5 or Opus 5 are the practical picks going forward. Gemini 4 in training, Gemini 3.5 Pro shelved. Google's roadmap just had a shakeup. Gemini 3.5 Pro, announced in May alongside 3.5 Flash, reportedly got shelved on August 10th due to deployment bottlenecks and performance issues, with Gemini 3.6 Flash serving as a stopgap. Google has redirected engineering resources towards Gemini 4, confirmed in pre-training as of July 21st, and described internally as its most ambitious pre-training run yet. No benchmark, pricing, or release date exists yet for Gemini 4. Based on Google's typical 6-month training cycles, some observers speculate a late 2026 window, but that's unconfirmed. If you're experimenting with local or open models for cost or privacy reasons, several open weight releases have jumped ahead this year. DeepSeek V4 went GA on July. Does that mean general audience? Went GA on July 19, 2026. GLM 5.2 became the top-ranked open model on the Artificial Intelligence Index. Okay, that's good to know. GLM 5.2 became the top-ranked open model on Artificial Intelligence Index. And Kimi K3 took the #1 spot on the front-end code arena leaderboard. These are increasingly viable alternatives to frontier closed models for scaffolding work when you want to conserve token budget across Claude, GPT, and Gemini. What this means for your workflow. Given the multi-model orchestration setup, the practical and near-term picture is OpenAI's next real leap, Astra, is still unannounced with no firm date. Anthropic is iterating fast with a full Claude 5 lineup already live, and Google is mid-pivot towards Gemini 4 after stumbling on 3.5 Pro. For agentic coding specifically, GPT5.6-Sol and Claude Fable 5 currently top independent SWE bench rankings, while Claude Sonnet 5 and Opus 4.8 remain the better cost-to-performance defaults for continuous multi-file work like your Prison or Simulation builds. Okay. That was a lot of information. All right, so now we have a handoff. Handoff to a new session. But let's see what our limit is going to be. This feels weird. I'm looking this way. I don't know what that looks like on camera because I'm looking this way. Let me see. It looks all right. If it feels weird that I'm looking like to my left and not at the camera, let me know. If you think it looks fine, that's cool. All right. What is this? Yeah, I'm doing a handoff now, so start a new little thing here. And we hand it off. I verified that I have been able to install Prism via test flight on my personal iOS device. I want to now consider things like making RevenueCat something that is integrated in the UI UX. Now that we have reached this stage, I want to consider what might be important now. What is the path forward to getting this reviewed for the official Apple App Store? And also, what kind of RevenueCat integration blockers are there? When can we realistically have a RevenueCat integration completed? The privacy page is live, but it's on the Simulison domain. I don't know if that is a problem because simulation.com is a completely different project. So it's just kind of odd having that domain be associated for the Prism legal policy page. But if it doesn't break anything and we can change it over later to a different URL, then I don't mind having it up right now. Can you confirm that we can go ahead and put this app completely free, but once we get the RevenueCat set up, then we can integrate that in seamlessly?
Let me verify precisely. Rather than reassure from memory, both questions have real mechanics behind them. Both confirmed against the code, not from memory. Two separate questions, two clean answers. The domain, not a problem. Freely changeable, I checked. The app itself contains no hard-coded reference to that URL anywhere. No app screen links to it, nothing in source code points at it. The privacy policy URL exists in exactly one place, a text field in App Store Connect's listing metadata. That means Apple doesn't care which domain it's on, they just need a working link at simulistan.com/prismlegal/works. Changing it later needs zero app rebuild. You just edit the URL field in App Store Connect. No new binary, no test flight redistribution, no code touch. The only real cost of leaving it there is cosmetic. Someone technically minded reading the URL might notice it belongs to a different app. Not something Apple checks, not something that affects functionality. So, it's fine to submit as is, and moving it later is a 5-minute edit whenever you get around to it on your own schedule. Free then add RevenueCat confirmed, with one mechanic worth understanding precisely. Yes to shipping fully free now. Yes to adding RevenueCat later without touching app logic. I verified the gate in the code, and it's exactly one boolean, code block. With Expo public monetization enabled, oh that's true. Every analysis surface, progress body, the longer insights windows, stays unlocked. No RevenueCat code runs, no network calls to it happen, nothing is half configured. When RevenueCat is ready, flipping that one variable to true in a new build is the entire code change. No new sprint, no migration, no risk to what's already shipped. One mechanic that isn't seamless in the way people sometimes assume, and matters for how you think about it. Expo public variables are baked into the binary at build time. They're not a server-side toggle. You flip.
If the application were to update with RevenueCat and a user who had been using the application has already entered their data, would their data then be protected behind the paywall such that they couldn't access it? And if they did pay for the product, would they then be able to receive access back to their information? That is obviously the best situation. It is obviously the best situation if we decide to ship the free model first and then follow up by the paid version with RevenueCat.
The gating only ever applies going forward to people choosing to update. Nothing here blocks moving forward. Ship free now.
All right, we're running out of session usage, about 80%. It resets in 2 hours, so I might get some food and then come back. But I want to at least get it started. Real question, blah, blah, blah. No, the data is never behind the paywall. Two separate things exist in the app. Their data is never behind the paywall. Two separate things exist in the app, and the only one of them gets locked. The data itself. Every workout, set, check-in, custom exercise measurement lives in Postgres, protected only by row-level security scoped to that user's own account. RevenueCat's entitlement table is completely isolated from that. I just checked. No RLS policy on any training data table references entitlements at all. The data table has no concept of paid or free data. It's either yours or it isn't yours. Full stop. Certain analysis screens built on top of that data. That's why the paywall actually gates, and it's a short, deliberate list. Locked behind the unlock. Free forever. Okay, so locked behind the unlock is progress, body's recovery estimate, insights 28 out of 84 day windows. Free forever is your workout history, logging, the exercise picker and check-ins, insights, the 7-day window, and custom exercises, measurements, profile, account, export, delete. Interesting. So that's what's currently locked behind the paywall, is the progress, body recovery estimate, and insights. Okay. That's fine. This is genuinely the best case shape for shipping free first. You're not building a version now and swapping it later. The paywall was designed from day one to gate a small number of views, never the underlying training log confirming. Okay. Yeah, so what do we do now? Start the paid application agreement now? What is sort of the big picture here? I gotta get more comfortable with dictation. The big picture here is that Prism is available on Apple App Store. What do we need to do right now to get Prism on that store? Are we wasting our time with test flight? How difficult is it going to be to get RevenueCat set up? What are the potential blockers? Come up with an ELI 10 framework for how we will be moving forward, given the big picture and the current status of the project. All right, we're at 80% session limit, and it resets in about 2 hours. So I think I'm gonna go get some food, play around with this app a little bit, let my testers know that this new app has been released. For anyone watching, if you're testing this application, if you have access to my test flight, I don't know everyone who's on the stream right now, but some of you do. Go ahead and check out the new release of Prism, and also let me know if you have anything you would like me to test out and provide feedback for as well. But I'm gonna play around with this, go grab some food, and I might be doing some hardware security stuff later, or I'll just continue working on this. Your next 3 action items right now: start the paid applications agreement today if it isn't already started. This is the 1 clock running in the background. Fill out the App Store Connect listing, screenshots, description, privacy answers, and attach build 3. Press submit for review. You don't need RevenueCat to do any of that. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and have it start the paid applications agreement now. All right. I think that's going to be it for now. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back soon. Bye bye.